Hello my friends. I am Folder, and this is my friend Max. We have a nice topic for you. Extraterrestrial alloys, when their crash shaped our history. Del Rio, Texas, 1955. Colonel Robert B. Willingham attends a simulation exercise of a bombardment when he sees a brilliant sphere, much larger than any star, going in the sky. Willingham looks curiously at the brilliant appearance, and then, the object suddenly turns 90 degrees, at a stunning speed. The colonel was granted permission from the ground to leave behind the mysterious object. Willingham followed the object to the Rio Grande, where a few minutes later the colonel shots in and knocks it down. The UFO crashes along the Rio Grande River on the Mexican side. Back at the base, Colonel Robert B. Willingham asks for help from a colleague, and together they return to the crash site with a small training plane. There they already find the Mexican army, which had engraved a glittering disc, buried on a hill near the river. Willingham noticed, astonished by a break in the UFO fuselage, the bodies of 3 extraterrestrial corpses. The Mexicans asked the Americans to leave the area immediately, but before leaving, the American pilot steals a small piece of the craft's remnants. Returning to the Air Force Base in Fort Worth, Texas, Willingham examines the fragment. Its interior is like a honeycomb and turns out to be more solid than steel. It is then attempted to cut it with a welding machine, but it has no effect on the material. The material does not resemble any metal that Willingham has ever seen before. Before identifying the secrets of the mysterious metal, Willingham is asked to send the metal alloy to a Navy lab in Maryland. It's the last time he sees or hears about the mysterious metal, and shortly after sending the material to the lab, he receives a threatening phone asking him to never talk about what happened in Del Rio, Mexico. It has been over 20 years for the pilot to courageously talk about what happened at the Mexican border.
And it was real bright. Finally, it made a 90-degree turn at 2,000 miles an hour, and I didn't figure it was. So I asked Captain on 47 if I could trace it, see where it was going, because we didn't know what it was. He came back in a few minutes, and he said, yeah, go ahead. Just you, though, not the rest of them. So I took off down there, and when I got to where it was right below Langtree, Texas, on the over on the Mexican side.
Many questions arise. What happened to the Del Rio alloy? Who threatened Willingham? And why were they so desperate to silence him? Experts believe that for several decades the U.S. government and Army are involved in a secret inverse engineering program recovered from crashed UFOs to obtain ultra-advanced weapons. Bill Burness, American author and ufologist. Extraterrestrial Alloys. How to create a metal that is very light, very malleable, but also very resistant at the same time. Maybe it's from the future, or maybe it's from another planet, but once we get our hands on this technology, we understand its purpose, and we used our own methods then to reproduce and use it for various purposes, obviously military in particular. Some people already believe that these metal alloys have already made a big leap in military technology. Incident of January 29, 1986, Dalnegorsk UFO crash, Russia. The inhabitants of a small mining town in southern Russia are witnessing a strange phenomenon in which a red spherical light crosses the night sky and then collapses into the mountains. Many people gathered and went to the spot where they discovered a smoking crater surrounded by a large area covered by a strange black film. At laboratory tests, it was discovered that the film contained some red metallic beads. The beads were found to be lead, but the lead alloy is still not found on Earth. Lee Spiegel Vertical Bar UFO writer, AOL Huffington Post, Extraterrestrial Alloys. 3 Russian academies and 11 Russian research institutes have analyzed the materials recovered from the collapse of the UFO. The distance between the atoms of the material is different from that of the iron. The radar waves are not reflected in this type of alloy. Some elements in the material simply disappear and others appear after they are heated. An element has completely disappeared in front of several witnesses. The CIA begins its own investigation into the materials recovered from the crashed UFO. A report declassified from a secret file in 1988, Russian scholars argue that the object is an extraterrestrial vehicle built by a very advanced civilization. In the chaotic years of that period that followed the fall of the former Soviet Union, samples of the alloy were stolen. Recently, the NASA Research Center in Langley announced the creation of a new type of alloy, which after being thrown by bullets closes alone after the projectile passes and regenerates as if it were alive. Is this the new NASA alloy, the living metal, the result of reverse engineering, recovered from the crashed UFOs? What effect could these elements have on our future? But on the planet? Many experts are of the opinion that the materials and alloys recovered from the crash site are secretly readjusted to our military technology. But for every collapse that is recovered, how many UFOs are going unnoticed? And what effect do these metals have on our environment? But what happens when people come into direct contact with an alien substance,